Hi, I'm Patty Dunn, and I am so glad you joined me this time because we are going to talk about the no-sew rage, glitz, glam, and glue, and what you can do to embellish your fabrics and your clothes without the sewing machine. So let me show you some things that you are going to love. First of all, if you go to the stores, you can find all kinds of things that you can attach by iron, fusible, to jeans, to jean jackets, to t-shirts, whatever. And here are just a couple of them. And if you notice, they have this real shiny back on the back of it. And so I got to thinking that, you know, a lot of us have, we have embroidery machines. And I would like myself to make my own embroidery. And so then I got to thinking, why couldn't I make my own embroidery fusible? And there's a reason why. I'm going to share that with you in just a minute, but there's a reason why I would like to do that with some things. But when you set up your sewing machine, you're going to need a wash away stabilizer. This one, it looks like fabric, and so it's got a little more substance to it. And you do need to pick an embroidery that actually is all together in one and connects, rather than something that's kind of spaced out there. I also have a nylon netting in here, and I have 2 layers so that I have a little more substance behind this. If this is not a standalone embroidery, there's a difference. So you want to be sure that you have something that will hold that together. Now, here is a little sample of using the embroidery and having actually the tear away stabilizer. You can see all the little fuzzy places that are left, and that didn't pull off very well, and so that it doesn't look really very good and clean. So what I did in this one is I went ahead and used the wash away stabilizer, and do you see how well his little whatever those are, little loopy things around the outside of him, they just came out nice and clean because I used the right stabilizer. The other thing is, get some really good scissors, be sure and cut real close, or else use a heat tool and a stencil iron and just go around and melt off the edge of that, and then you can have a clean edge on it. And look at the detail in this peacock, and this one did just fine that way, and I've already fused the back of that, and you can tell that that's going to be a really nice project that will be kind of fun to use. So let me show you how I put this fusible web on the back of my my embroidery. First of all, I have to work on a pressing sheet. This pressing sheet is nice and tacky on the back side, so it doesn't wiggle around, and it also will take heat up to 500 degrees. So it really makes it nice because I can leave my iron on there and I can be ready for everything. And what I'm going to do, after I take my little piece and I trim off all of the extra stuff, I'm going to take it and get my fusible web, and I'm going to put it on the back side. And then I'm going to lay it on my pressing sheet, and I'm going to iron it, press it with this little, no steam, I'm just using regular high heat, and I'm going to hold that there until I see the form of this come up. And the thing about it is when you're doing this on the back side, it actually will be, it will actually allow your embroidery to not smash down. So that's a good thing. And then after I get done with that, all I need to do is just wipe off that. I can use a little credit card, but all of that glue just comes right up and it just wipes right off. So you can get that off real easily off of your pressing sheet. Then what I'm going to do is lift my my embroidery off of this, and look, I have all these little flaky pieces left, And so now all I do is just tear them off because they are so light, there's nothing to them. So they will just tear away, and that will make them fusible. And so here I am with my fusible piece of fabric, my piece of fabric that I'm going to fuse it onto. And so after I get this all pulled off, I'm going to put the embroidery on the fabric, and then I want to use a pressing cloth for sure, and I'm going to just start that and get it hot. And the neat thing about this little iron is not only is it small, but it also has a heating adjustment so that I can actually be a little bit cooler or a stronger heat. Then once I get that kind of on there, then I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to really work on the back side of this. And the reason that I'm going to do that hard on the back side is because that actually will allow the fabric to pull up around it more. And so then once I have left this on for long enough, I'm going to actually see the image. If you can see the other one that I did, you can see I worked with it for quite a while, and the image is almost like stamped on the back. And when you look at this, you can see it's really on there well. You can see that it is on there really nice, and this actually looks like I did that right onto the fabric because I've worked on the back side of it and it kind of pulled into the fabric. So now I got to thinking, well, what shall I do with something that I wanted to do 3D? Well, here is a little butterfly that I wanted to do 3D, and I found a product that works really well for that. This is a glue. There's several brands out there, but it's a glue that is heat sensitive. And so what you're going to do is put the glue on the back of your embroidery project and just put it where you want it. Don't worry about getting it on the sides, just put it in the middle. And when you do that, it comes out very, very liquidy, but it's thick. And then you're going to let this set for about 15 minutes. And then once you get ready to do that, you're just going to apply it again with the iron. And then that's exactly how I applied this. Let me get this out of the way. That's exactly how I applied that butterfly. And see, it's just nice and clean. No pulling. Pulling is not going to pull that off. It's great. Now I got to thinking, what else can I fuse? You know, once you get on in one avenue, you got to try it and everything. So I decided, let's try some of this trim. Well, I got this trim and I thought, why wouldn't this work? So I used the same product on this trim, and I did it with this fabric here that's stable, and I'm telling you, that is not going anywhere. And the neat thing about it is you won't see all of those stitches, and the monofilament thread is a little shiny sometimes. See, there's nothing on the back. And I even tried this product on a piece of knit just to make sure, because sometimes when the fabric stretches, it ends up to be a little bit of pull away on it. This is not going anywhere. But the only thing that I would warn you about this is if you're going to put this on a knit, then you want to be sure that you can get it over your head, because you lose the stretch. It isn't going to give. So I basically just put it on the back of that trim, just like I did the butterfly, and it worked great. So that's something new out there. There are so many glues. The thing that's good about this one is it is made to be heat sensitive, and so the glue doesn't kind of squash out and go everywhere, and it's not real wet, and it's a little more controllable. Now there are fabric glues, there's all kinds of brands. Every brand name has the same types of products, but they're going to be something that will be specific to the fabric, or will be specific to what you're doing with it. So I'm going to talk to you a little later about some of that too. So now let's talk about what else we can fuse, since we're in the fusing mood. This is, you've probably done fusible applique. Well, this is a way to take your fabric and actually utilize the print by fussy cutting. So what I did is I fused the whole piece. That's very important. Fuse the whole piece first and then cut it away. Then you're going to cut it from the edges. And then what I end up with is my little piece of cut out design, and I can do some leaves if I want to. And then I can not only take this to fabric, but I can also take this to paper. Did you know that you can actually put heat to the paper and you can fuse on the paper? And so I use that on the paper, or I can also use it on fabric. And then this was actually fused on the inside, and then this lady named Maggie Davis made me this pretty little sampling of this ribbon, hot ribbon art, and it is a ribbon that is fusible. And the thing about this ribbon is that it will curve to the design that you want. So it's not like cut on the straight of the grain. So you can actually curve this ribbon before you get it to your project. And you can use it on the pressing sheet and just curve it and do the design and then take it to your fabric. And then you can make your own ribbon that's fusible too. And there's the little tool that you can use for that, where you just feed in the fusible web that's already cut into the width that you want, and you fuse it at the same time, and then you pull the paper off and you use it on the fabric. And the thing that's nice about this is it works great on the straight, but you will have a problem with this if you're going to use this on a curve or anything, because it has no give. So let me show you in the fusing, speaking of no-sew fusing, this is our wonderful Mardi Gras purse that was made for our purse challenge. And this was made by Darlene Spencer from Canyon Lake, Texas. And she has done all kinds of fusing on this. And she's put the glitz, the fusible crystals around the outside edge. And she did a great job in just glitzing this up. Not everything was fusible that she did on this purse, but I wanted to share this with you and thank Darlene for joining our contest, and thank you, many of you that voted in the contest on the website. And so I also want to show you that you can go with now glitter. So let's talk a little bit about taking and embellishing some of that with glitter glue. Now this is the glue that is already in the glue bottle with the glue. And it goes on, and you can hardly tell that the glitter's there until it dries. It's very thick. This is a project that I did on just one of these little tote bags, and it's very thick and it's very stiff. So if I put that on clothing, I'm probably not going to be real happy with that. And so let me show you some other options for some glitter that is much finer and more beautiful to work with than that heavier glitter. Now that's great for a tote bag, and it has its place too. But some things work better with other products. So again, you just need to learn what kind of products are out there. And so what I wanted to show you was, let me get this over here. When I'm working with glitter, I can also, how I get my, my design on depends on what I want to do with it also. So I want to take some of my glue, and I want to put the glue in on this on this paper plate, and I'm going to take one of these makeup sponges, and I'm going to take a stamp, and I'm going to take the glue, and this is glue that works with glitter and fabric, very important. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to just dab it on to my stamp. So here's my glue and my stamp, and I just press it down. The glue is on it. I take my glitter, and this again is a little bit softer glitter. It's a lot more fabric friendly for a more elegant fabric. And I just put my glitter in one of these salt and pepper shakers, and so I'm just going to cover that with the glue, with the glitter over the glue, and then I want to work with a parchment paper that you buy in the grocery store. The reason I do is because I can pick the parchment paper up and I can just put it back into a container easily. So now I'm just going to dust off that glitter, and look at how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? That just works so well. And then I have these little trays, and then all I do is just gather up this glitter and just kind of walk it down into the tray, and then the tray has a little point, and it'll go right into the can. So that's glitter on fabric with glue. What about using a Sizzix machine, something that's a die cut? That's what I used. There's a couple other die cut machines out there. Some of them are more friendly to fabric. So if I wanted to make something that was a applique, I would go ahead and put the fusible web on the applique, on the fabric, and run it through the die cut machine, and I get 2 designs from one die cut. And that's all cut for me. Then all I have to do is fuse it on. So there's another example of getting a design on the fabric. So what if I want to do a new thing called foiling? Foiling is very, very bright, shiny, pretty papers that glimmer and glitter. And what you can do is you can use glue with those, but I'm going to show you this because I already had cut with the die cut machine, cut out my design with the die cut machine on fusible paper, on fusible web again. So now what I can do is I can take, I'm going to use this red just so you can see. I'm going to take that, and actually I'm going to use the parchment paper. I would normally use the parchment paper, but I'm going to just, because this is handy, I'm going to use this pressing sheet, and I'm going to press over this design. And you want to have the bright side of the fabric, of the paper up, and oh look, now I may not have gotten all the way down there with the iron because I was doing it in a hurry, but do you see that whole thing is fused right onto that? And you can transfer that on just like easy as pie, just wonderfully easy. So then what can you do with some of these other shapes? There is actually some beads that you can do, and I'm just going to show you the beads. This is beads that were put onto this is beads that were put on with the fusible web right on top of the product, on top of the fabric, and then the beads were fused on just like I did the foiling. So boy, there are so many things that you can do with these new products. These little beads are glass beads, so that's what makes them work on heat. So then when you come to foiling with glue, you can use a stencil, and you can put the design on with a pencil and then take it off, or you can actually use a stencil brush and put your glue directly onto the stencil just like that and pull it off. That's the way I did this one down here. And this one I did the line of glue. I just did the line of glue. And then when you get ready to do this, you're just going to take this after it's stopped, after it's dry. You want to wait till this dries. You're going to pull this on and off, pull this on and off. And you see, it just grabs onto all of that glue all by itself. And this is one of the ways that I did this jacket right here. And make sure I don't get this in the glue. That wouldn't be good. This has actually got foiling down some of the trim. It has the edges of the glue were put on the middle center part of this was put on the edges. And then I used the methods of the glue in the bottle, just running it through and putting the glitter on. And then I did the shape right here. That shape is done on the die cut machine, and the glitter was put on to add to it. So this is one road to all kinds of ideas for embellishment, and I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing all of these things with you, and I know that I have opened up an avenue where your mind is going, I can use that in some way. So I hope I can see you next time and we'll have some more fun.